But one of the things I do want to point out that's not been laid out that honestly hurts my heart is when I saw the no votes, there were only 2 Caucasians. For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color, because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was, specifically to us.
Well, she's lying. I mean, Charlie Kirk targeted nobody. He was not racist in any way. I've listened to hours and hours and hours and hours of Charlie Kirk debates and talks, and have been with Charlie Kirk and did events with Charlie Kirk and knew Charlie Kirk. There wasn't a racist bone in his body. To say that he was continuously targeting people of color is nothing but a malicious smear on the very day that people are remembering Charlie and he's going to be laid to rest. And so I think we need to combine the no votes on the resolution, and then you look at the leading Democratic voices like Ilhan Omar and Jasmine Crockett, who've gone out to smear Charlie before he's even had his funeral. When I hear people say we need to come together and both sides need to turn down the rhetoric, you know, a lot of the people saying that need to look inward right now. I was shocked at that. Well, I guess I shouldn't say I'm shocked by her, but I was a little stunned by what happened this morning.
Hey guys, it's Talk to Kenny. I just finished watching the whole memorial service. I didn't watch all of it, but I watched towards the end, starting from Tucker Carlson, JD Vance talking, Erica Kirk, and Erica Kirk did something that honestly I don't think I would. I don't know. I'm not naturally a forgiving person, so when I hear someone forgive the killer of their husband, wow, my respects go out to her. And I wanted to talk about this because, you know, I just came fresh from watching that. I came to sit down and discuss what's going on, to see what's going on in politics. And I seen that CNN was attempting to counter program the memorial service for Charlie Kirk, and seeing that the left is protesting a funeral. You heard that correctly. The left is protesting a funeral. I find it honestly disgusting. Like, come on. You can't have one day you don't have to make something political, right? And this is the side that lectures us about toning down the temperature, right? And I wanted to kind of do a revisit of my video. You guys, I appreciate that. That was like my best video ever on this channel, of me making commentary about how people mischaracterize Charlie Kirk. And here's a tweet from someone, and this is an argument I lay out perfectly. And I even saw the comments on that video that there's certain people that no matter what you say, they just want a reason to hate Charlie Kirk. They just want a reason to hate somebody. They don't care if it's based on lies, mistruths, out of context quotes. They don't care. The end goal was to satiate their hate, to justify their hate. And this is what you're seeing firsthand on CNN, right? I have sat through over 50 hours of Charlie Kirk's videos as an ethnically black American. Not one racist word. Imagine that. Not one. What Democrats do is cut snippets, strip context, and shove sound bites at the same gullible slob audience too lazy to fact check. And this is where I'm starting to, you know, I'm very direct when I talk to people. I feel like if you hate Charlie Kirk, and I ask you, why do you hate Charlie Kirk? Why do you feel like Charlie Kirk's a racist? As you saw from the intro with Jasmine Crockett, right? And then when she gets mad when people accuse her of being low IQ. Jasmine Crockett didn't give you any references. She didn't give you any evidence or any suggestion or any thing in reality that she can point to justify why she believed that Charlie Kirk should not be honored. And you see many leftist streamers doing this. Destiny, I don't know why. I think Destiny's just doing this for clicks at this point. But he equated Charlie Kirk's memorial to a Nazi rally. You heard that correctly. But this is the side that's lecturing. You see why I make the videos I make about the left. Why I have such a negative bias against leftists and liberals. That these people are deceitful. They're very manipulative. And they show it. They show it. No matter amount of talk will ever convince me of this, out of this bias. You can call it selection bias. You can call it whatever the hell you want. But every day, the Democratic Party, the liberals that support them, show me every day why I am validated in being very skeptical of things they present at face value. Because when you have Democrats like this worried about, oh, we're worried about Christian revivals, oh, Charlie Kirk will be a dustpan in history. This is the kind of rhetoric the Democratic Party is pushing. Let's take a look.
I just think it was the video where it called him Dr. Frankenstein and said his monster shot him through the neck. I mean, obviously this is a person, and looking at this is someone who was a husband and a father, and in the days after his shocking death, that happened as a result of his views, or happened as a result as he was sharing his views publicly with people, that people found it jarring to hear such criticism of that in the immediate aftermath of
what
someone's death.
I find jarring is that there's so many people willing to excuse the most reprehensible things that he said, that they agree with that they're willing to have monuments for him, that they want to create a day to honor him, and that they want to produce resolutions in the House of Congress honoring his life and legacy. It is one thing to care about his life, because obviously so many people loved him, including his children and wife. But I am not going to sit here and be judged for not wanting to honor any legacy this man has left behind. That should be in the dustbin of history, and we should hopefully move on and forget the hate that he spewed every single day.
I'm sorry, guys. You were supposed to get another clip after this, but I couldn't take it anymore. What hate? What hate exactly? Like, is this the... This is my problem. This is why I have such a negative bias against a lot of people on the left, especially progressives, especially the radicals. You guys have this imagination in your head, and you pretend it's reality. Give me the reality. What's the reality? He said something that you found offensive. He said something that you didn't like. That's the reality of his hate. You hated what he had to say. You hated that he articulated himself very perfectly. Because imagine, isn't this hate? These are the people who are lecturing you. These are the people who are lecturing conservatives. Imagine protesting a memorial service for a murdered father and husband, really, and you really think you're the good person here. Ilhan Omar, you don't think this is hateful? Huh? I got another one for you. Because this is reality. Right? This is not me pretending what the left do, pretending what radical socialists do. This is what you actually do. This is people who pretend. This is not me accusing Destiny of being liberal. He called himself the omni-liberal. That's his tag right there, the omni-liberal. This Charlie Kirk memorial is indistinguishable from a Nazi rally, and F anyone who wants to pretend it's not. This may go down the day in history as when Democrats lost the 2028 election, before it even effing started. But these are the people who are lecturing you about hate, intolerance. Garbage. This is garbage. Like, I don't take these people seriously anymore. And I'm scrolling because I got to show you one more example, bro. I have to. Right? This is Ilhan Omar. This is where I got the clip from. She said that Charlie Kirk should be left in the dustpan of history. Tell me you don't understand reality without telling me you understand reality. Like, even when you listen to her, right? What examples did she give as one of the reasons why she found what Charlie Kirk had to say as hateful, right? I find let's play with me. This is my standards. This is how I judge ideas. I say that DEI is racism under new management, and I give you examples of that. Shouldn't we not take in consideration someone's skin color and race and make that the sole determining factor of why they deserve special treatment or not? Just solely on the color of their race? And if someone had did the opposite, we would find that irreprehensible. Therefore, we should not allow the opposite to apply as well, right? We shouldn't make it harder for an Asian with perfect scores to lose out on admissions to a college campus just because he don't fit a certain race, because we're trying to fit a certain quota. And even though majority of these people who are fit our quota are not technically on the merits qualified to get into an administration, at least not compared to a lot of the Asian people. And just because the college will be overwhelmingly Asian, we should discriminate against them. I don't think that's the right thing to do. And I give examples of that. But what examples did Ilhan Omar present as hateful speech from Charlie Kirk? And this is the problem with people. They quote imaginations. They quote imaginary thinking of what they think someone said, what they think someone meant, but not actual words. And then you get idiots like the omni-liberal, the so-called omni-liberal, telling you, oh, hey, it's indistinguishable from a Nazi rally. CNN's counter-programming Charlie Kirk's memorial with Jasmine Crockett. If they were around to cover MLK's funeral, would they have done a segment with the Grand Dragon? Possibly, right? You got ABC saying that the murder of Charlie Kirk was not a political act. Ridiculous. What he was doing there. Destiny, you'll likely respond with something disgusting, but I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. Jesus loves you. That darkness is a choice. Hey, I'm telling you, liberalism, you have done a lot. Like the political ideology of the left has done a lot to destroy a lot of the moral fabric of the society. Honestly, I honestly believe that. Many people on the left, especially Marxism, destroyed our cultural norms to the degree where there's even people trying to make engagement off of this. It's not too late to change. You have embraced evil, and it will destroy you if you don't turn back now. We'll pray for you. Hey, Destiny need more than prayer. He needs an intervention. This Charlie Kirk memorial is incredible. If the shooter hoped that he would silence his victim's voice, he was laboring under a massive miscomprehension. Charlie's voice has never resonated louder or more powerfully around America or around the world, and this is why Democrats, liberals are so desperate to try to spin this as a bad thing. And I want to go into a fuller reaction and context on this. So I want to play this video real quick before I jump in onto our live reaction. Let's take a look.
David?
Yeah, well, look, first of all, let's just say a couple of things. One is Charlie Kirk's assassination was a tragedy for his family. It was a tragedy for his friends and supporters, many of whom are pouring into Phoenix right now, Glendale right now. And it was a tragedy for the country because it was an assault on free speech and the ability to express oneself in the public square that is so fundamental to our country, and that's what Charlie Kirk was doing. It is not, whether you call something racist or not, that's a discussion. Charlie Kirk said things that were offensive to black people. That doesn't, I don't want to sully this day of mourning by getting deeply into that debate, but that's just a fact, and we can go through some of them here. I don't really want to go through that exercise, but I don't also want this to be the occasion for continued division, continued hate, continued violence. And one of the things I'm going to be looking for today is, to the people who are coming there to mourn, will they get the kind of ceremony and service that they deserve and yearn for, or will it just turn into a political rally where this horrible occasion will be used to further divide and galvanize? That would be a loss for the country.
It's a matter of perspective, right? The left wants to say, "Oh, we don't want this to be a political rally." And this is what I'm talking about with the left. They want submission. They don't believe in tolerance, right? They don't look how they operate. I don't want to besmirch this man, but a lot of people found what he had to say offensive. What you sure that what black people have found offensive about Charlie Kirk was actually things he said, or people that misconstrued, misinterpret, and essentially created words, put words in his mouth, right? I remember one of the videos I put out about the people mischaracterizing Charlie Kirk. And in that intro, I found it as a good intro, is that they attribute words that Charlie Kirk didn't say to him to try to make this narrative or this boogeyman or this caricature of Charlie Kirk, right? Because now the left is complaining about cancel culture. And this is why the left is losing. They sense it. They sense that they lost the culture. They sense that they lost the moral high ground because liberals pretend to be good. This is one thing I know about liberals. I know them like the color of my hand. They love to look like the good guy. They love their optics. And right now, there's no optic vision, no optic angle that they can take. Their usual tactics of a character assassination ain't working no more. You see it with the Destiny guy. He's trying to equate this to a Nazi rally because he has nothing. Nothing. There's nothing you can really say about this memorial service that you can take as political. It was a giant Christian service, pretty much, honoring the man's faith. It didn't get political towards the end. But that's what y'all going to focus on. That's what y'all going to cause division over. And I want to play this. I'm not going to play it because I don't know if it's copyrighted. But I just want to read this quote. Jimmy Kimmel got fired, and people are like, this is fascism. But we were getting fired for not getting an injection 2 years ago. But that was okay. This is an example of how the left shot themselves in the foot. But I digress. I want to go into this discussion between Scott Jennings and the David Axelrod guy, after Dana Bash pretty much gave zero pushback to what's her name, Jasmine Crockett's assertion about him being racist, this and that and the third. And I kind of want to play the clip in real time and give my reaction commentary as I usually do. Let's take a look.
Who are there. Appreciate it. The House overwhelmingly passed a resolution on Friday to honor the life and legacy of Charlie Kirk after that assassination last week. The measure passed by 310 to 58. Democrats were heavily split on the issue. The resolution condemns his death and political violence and hails the conservative activist as a courageous American patriot. I want to discuss with CNN senior political commentator Scott Jennings and CNN chief political analyst David Axelrod. Hello to you both. Thank you so much for being here. I wanted to start on that resolution because, to me, it is kind of a window into the way that politicians in both parties are grappling with this moment that we're in, not just leading into the memorial, but the moment after the horrible assassination of Charlie Kirk. Markwayne Mullin was on State of the Union this morning. He is a huge ally of President Trump. He was a friend of Charlie Kirk's. He's going to the funeral today. He brought up with me how upset he was that Democrats voted against that resolution. Afterwards, I spoke to Jasmine Crockett, Democrat of Texas. She was one of the 58 to vote no. Listen to what he said and her reason after that.
The same resolution that had Charlie Kirk's name on, you had 58 representatives vote no, 38 voted present, 22 chose not to vote. That is silent. So you had 118 individuals that didn't condemn it because
Senator,
why?
get to that,
because of
So this is where the left start losing many people, right? Because I bet you a lot of these people, like this is my thing, right? If you're not gonna like somebody, actually, make the decision on something that's actually real, something you actually can kind of defend, right? But if I go to these Democrats and I say, "Oh, why you voted no?" "Oh, well, I believe political violence is wrong," but what he had to say, he said very hateful things. Oh, like what? Now you can say I didn't agree with him, I didn't like him, and this gives, like, when you can't answer questions like that, this is something the Democrats lack very much in substance. When you can't give an example of how you interpret what he had to say as negative or racist because it gives a negative view to a certain group of people. But if it's a pattern of behavior and people are just calling out a pattern of behavior, it doesn't make it racist. Calling out the fact that nearly half of crime is done by black males, that's not a racist or sexist comment. That's noticing patterns. Pattern recognition isn't racism. I'm going to say that again for the black liberal, black Marxist, black progressive in the back. Noticing patterns of behavior is not racism. It's not. Pattern recognition isn't racism. And if you can't disprove the fact, these facts that conservatives bring up, like what Charlie Kirk will reference sometimes, what other conservatives will reference sometimes, you can't just smear it as racism. And this is where I take upon from these segments that these Democrats are doing, that how they're acting is political. Everything's political with these people. And this is a way for them to smear Charlie Kirk. Oh, he was this, he was that, he was this. So that way the media can run and say, oh, this Democrat claims that Charlie Kirk said some offensive things to black people, as you saw from the segment before. But if they don't give you an example for you to make your own judgment on that, and that's the problem I have with the Democrats. This is why I call Democrats deceitful, deceptive, because you don't allow the viewer to make their own determinations about whether or not what Charlie Kirk said was racist. Instead, you want to lead us down a conclusion, and you already predetermined that it was a racist statement. And you don't give us an opportunity to see it for ourselves so we can either agree or disagree with what your claim, what your framing of the events are. And that's my problem with the Democratic Party. And I think that's why a lot of people don't trust the Democratic Party. That's just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comment section below. Let's continue with the video.
Democracy over both sides.
Is when I saw the no votes, there were only 2 Caucasians. For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color, because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. And
how? If I was across from her, okay, can you give me some examples, something concrete that the viewers can make the determination for themselves? Because this is my ethos on this channel. I don't want to lead you down to certain conclusions. I give you my conclusions. I give you my basis, my evidence for my conclusions, and you make your own determinations about that information. You can agree with me, disagree with me, say I'm a little too radical here. Kenny, I agree with you here, but here's why. Like, this is how you bring up fruitful debate. I'm not trying to sit here and galvanize people to all think like me. No. All my life, I've been around people who don't think or see the world the same way as I do. But what I'm not going to do is live in delusion, believe in someone's caricature or misrepresentation of somebody. I want to focus on reality. That's my ethos. That's truth. That's what truth is. I want to see truth. You can look at truth in different angles. You can have different perspectives on truth. But there's only one truth. And this my truth crap that the Democrats love to push, this is how I feel. Oh, black people feel like this was racist. Just because you look at survey data and black people could be offended by certain things doesn't make it racist. How you know the black people themselves wasn't socialized and culturalized to perceive slights as racism? How you know these black people wasn't culturalized, and this is what liberals do, to perceive equal treatment like racism? Like, we want to remove DEI, and black liberals think it's racism against them. That's subjective. And this is the problem we have in our country. My truth has caused division in our country. Believing in subjective truth has divided this country culturally, spiritually, politically. That's the reality. That's what I'm calling out on my channel. Subjective truth is the true divisive element in our country. Let me know in the comment section if you agree or disagree with that statement that I've provided. Let's continue.
And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was, specifically to us.
Scott Jennings.
Well, she's lying. I mean, Charlie Kirk targeted nobody. He was not racist in any way. I've listened to hours and hours and hours and hours of Charlie Kirk debates and talks, and have been with Charlie Kirk and did events with Charlie Kirk and knew Charlie Kirk. There wasn't a racist bone in his body. To say that he was continuously targeting people of color is nothing but a malicious smear on the very day.
And I agree with Charlie Kirk. I agree with Scott Jennings' angle on this. Is because she provided no examples, no evidence for us to verify what she's saying is true or not. This is a smear campaign. Nothing more, nothing less.
That people are remembering Charlie, and he's going to be laid to rest. And so I think we need to combine the no votes on the resolution, and then you look at the leading Democratic voices like Ilhan Omar and Jasmine Crockett, who've gone out to smear Charlie before he's even had his funeral. When I hear people say, well, you need to come together and both sides need to turn down the rhetoric, you know, a lot of the people saying that need to look inward right now. I was shocked at that. Well, I guess I shouldn't say I'm shocked by her, but I was a little stunned by what happened this morning.
David?
Yeah, well, look, first of all, let's just say a couple of.
So we already know how this is going to end. We already know where he goes with this. I already gave you the clip. I already gave you the context in the segment before. But this just goes to show that this is nothing more than a smear campaign by the left, by the Democratic Party. You trying to mischaracterize this event as a Nazi rally. Oh, this is what the liberals are telling you. Every accusation is a confession on their part. But the liberals from the left, progressive left, the radicals on the left side of the aisle, they suffer more from imagination than from reality. They look at Charlie Kirk's memorial service and they perceive it as a Nazi rally, and therefore it's bad. That's why they're protesting it outside of the stadium. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. Democrats, you're effed. I'm sorry. You're effed. You're that disconnected from the rest of the American population. No wonder you lost the popular vote in 2024. And 2026 will be another litmus test of how low the Democratic Party, how out of line the Democratic Party has become. Because it's almost like the chickens have come home to roost for the Democratic Party. Every tactic, their go-to tactic, character assassination, the wrap-up smear, as Nancy Pelosi put it up, it ain't working. Because every accusation that the left make, every accusation that Democrats make about political violence, about political rhetoric, hateful rhetoric, Donald Trump is turning up the temperature, Donald Trump's doing this, Donald Trump's doing that. But you guys are doing the same thing, if not are the cause of it. And because Donald Trump wants to investigate some organizations that we know fund a lot of these agitation groups and all this stuff, have a history of political violence, Look at the Black Liberation Party. Look at all those Marxist movements that have been through the 70s. But you want to pretend that as if all the violence in this country is only coming from one side. You want to both sides this. You want to spread the blame around. But you don't want to take accountability behind with your rhetoric. If the right was as emotional and as reactionary as the left, we might have already been in a civil war. But it's only because of the right is peaceful. It's only that the right knows that, hey, if we counter their hate with more hate, all we do is turn up the temperature. Let's try to be the bigger person. And all we did was cancel some people, hold people accountable to the standards that they pushed a couple years ago. And now they're crying about cancel culture. Oh, the conservatives are embracing cancel culture. No, we're not. This is called accountability culture. Live up to the values you spew out of your mouth. If you believe in content moderation, if you believe that freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence, you really believe that, lib, then we're going to help you live by your standards. And y'all hate it. Make it make sense. But I digress. That's enough for me. Let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. Do you believe that the Democrats have royally messed up with the way that they're trying to counter-program the memorial service? Do you think it was a good look or a bad look for them? I'd like to hear your thoughts and perspective on this matter. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if it's so kind. It really does help me out in the algorithm. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.